So, everyone knows who Dennis Rodman is, and if that name doesn't ring a bell, luckily, he is the kind of guy that if I showed you a picture of him, you'd know exactly who I was talking about. I mean, he's pretty hard to miss. But if you still don't know who this guy is, he's a famous NBA player from back in the Michael Jordan days. And at the height of his career and popularity, back in 1997, he was approached by some Hollywood bigwigs to star in a spy action film alongside Jean-Claude Van Damme and Mickey Rourke. This film was called Double Team, and it was supposed to be Rodman's big break, transforming him from NBA star to movie star. And with a $30 million budget paired with the action star royalty cast, it was sure to be a hit. Except it wasn't. But this review isn't about Double Team, it's about the follow-up movie, which, trust me, is way more mind-bogglingly bad. That was hard to say. So, a year after the flop of Double Team, Dennis Rodman signed on to another spy action film. A comedy this time called Simon Says. Simon Says stars Dennis Rodman as our main character with support from comedian Dane Cook. So, Dennis Rodman is our main character for the film, and he's a terrible fucking actor. But you hardly notice how shit of an actor he is because he actually does the least amount of talking in the film. On the other side, I think Dane Cook is a better actor than Dennis. It's just that he's given way more screen time for such an insignificant character in the story of the film. And his performances in some scenes is just so cringe. He was just given way too much freedom in those scenes, which is a common problem with new directors. And we finally have our villain, Ashton, who's played by Jerome Pradon? I don't know. He's French. Anyway, he's overacting in every scene. I guess it's a direction you can take as the villain in an action comedy film. Being a really over-the-top villain can actually work pretty well in comedy films. It's just nobody was on the same page in which direction to go with their performance, which is sort of the point of a director, to point all the departments in the same direction. But yeah. Not surprisingly, Simon Says flopped, and even harder than Double Team, this time only grossing a comparatively minuscule $300K at the box office and receiving terrible reviews. So let's dive in and have a closer look at what went wrong with this fucking mess of a film. So, this is how the movie starts, and brace yourselves. A robotic fly cam piloted by two monks watches over a secret meeting set up by the antagonist, while a 6'5" yellow Power Ranger inconspicuously watches the live feed from the fly camera on the fuel tank of his motorcycle. That is just the first 15 seconds of this film. It gets better though. We're then introduced to the Colonel character as he's being driven to the docks for the meeting, before cutting to what is very clearly a bunch of undirected stuntmen given no direction on the scene at all, that were just told, yeah, ride the bikes around in a circle and we'll just add motocross sounds over the top. Anyway, all of a sudden these big bad bikers are chasing the Colonel and smashing up his car. One of them does a fucking backflip for some reason. It's pretty cool if you can excuse the really shitty editing. But eventually the Colonel makes it to the docks and the moped gang calls it quits. Our evil villain Ashton sends out his henchmen to get the Colonel out of the car. And instead of walking up to the door and making the Colonel get out, he walks around to the opposite side of the car and fucking punches the driver's side window out and then motions for the Colonel to get out. What? Meanwhile, our 6'5" glow-in-the-dark stormtrooper of a main character is still watching this from afar. A bunch of really bad dialogue happens and essentially the Colonel was gonna sell a weapon to the British guy, but he's going back on his deal and Ashton threatens the family or some shit, and then Ashton calls the big biker gang back for round 2, and then Dennis the Menace swoops in and saves the day, and he pulls his helmet off and is meant to be a really cool, whoa, it's Dennis Rodman scene. Anyway, he says a bunch of shit and then says, call me when you want to talk. Anyway, he slips his helmet back on and then he like awkwardly fucking tippy-toes his motorbike out of frame. Yeah, you like that? That's pretty fucking cool. Rides his bike back to the HQ and we are introduced to the comic relief of the film. Most of the time they're pretty cringe and they're clearly improv'd and ad-libbed because they talk over each other very frequently.
Robot monk. Robot monk, Simon.
We were
Look.
monks, we'd be on the road.
Anyway, we then jump to a beach and we are introduced to Claire, Michael, and Mr. Gabrielli, who is very insistent they stay on the raft where he can see them.
Well, stay where I can see you.
We're just gonna go lay out on the raft.
Well, but stay on the raft where I can see you.
Anyway, that's enough of that scene. Apparently, we are then thrust into a scene of a bunch of old French dudes playing toss the metal ball towards the other metal balls. It's a classic, I know. And for some reason, Dennis Rodman is there, and he's also playing. And he lines up the ball very dramatically. Guess what? It's comic relief time! It's only been a minute since the last comic relief, but it's comic relief time!
Come on! Don't you remember Nick Miranda? You believe this, homie? Yes! Come here!
We are introduced to Nick Miranda, played by the always funny Dane fucking Cook. It is revealed that they went to school together or some shit, blah blah blah. Dennis Rodman used to be CIA, but he's retired now. Dane Cook does a fucking Chewbacca impression for like 40 seconds uninterrupted.
Morning, boss.
You get the point. Dane Cook is now in the movie universe, and from here on out, it's fucking Daddy Dane time. You just fucking Dane time, baby! I'm gonna refer to Dane Cook as Nick, which is his character in The Thing, and Dennis Rodman as Simon, because it makes it easier to follow. Anyway, Nick brings Simon along to meet a couple of fucking Wario and Luigi cosplayers. Anyway, he puts him on the phone, and it's the creepy dude from the beach from earlier, Mr. Gabrielli, and it's revealed Nick is there to pay ransom for Claire, who is being held hostage by the creepy dude. And Nick asked to see Claire, and oh no, she's not on the pontoon anymore where he said. So everybody pulls their guns out, and Dennis Rodman does some fucking kung fu shit, and then they escape with the briefcase. Before we are introduced to a character that is only ever listed as the dancer. Anyway, it turns out Simon and her used to date or some shit, and they fight over the briefcase for a second. Uh-oh, it's comic relief time. It's fucking Daddy Dane time, baby. Let's go. Goofy music starts, and Dane Cook, I kid you not, pretends to be a T-Rex for another 40 fucking seconds.
Oh, come on.
And for some reason, Simon is on the floor, and instead of getting up off the ground and continuing to fight the woman, he just looks at Dane Cook doing a fucking T-Rex impression, and he sort of laughs and then just has a nap. Obviously, the dancer just escapes, and there's more fighting. The fight scenes in this film actually aren't that bad. It's a lot of wire work. It's just really let down by the editing. It's really jumpy. And anyway, 6'5" Dennis Rodman unsurprisingly defeats this woman, and he escapes with the briefcase, and he carries fucking Dane Cook on his shoulder, and it's really funny to look at. Anyway, we jump to Simon opening the briefcase while... It's more comic relief, baby. If you think this film didn't have enough fucking comic relief. We learned there's supposed to be $2 million in the briefcase, but instead, it's a CD. And this scene's actually pretty good, because you can tell Dennis Rodman is not acting.
Here is it. Did you see the money, stupid?
Anyway, we are then treated to a terrible phone call scene that's been completely dubbed over.
They didn't bring the disc. Or maybe I should send someone to help.
No. I don't need your help. I can handle it my way with my people. Don't worry. I'll get you the disc.
All right, but just hurry up.
But it's between our villain, Ashton the British dude, and the creepy dude from the beach, Mr. Gabrielli. Except I didn't fucking recognize him the first time I watched this, because we've only ever seen Mr. Gabrielli in his fucking hat and glasses, and now he's not in either. Essentially, the scene is meant to show that the dancer and Gabrielli aren't Ashton's henchmen, but are people who are also caught up in this crazy story. It's a very shitty scene. The fact they already dubbed it over once means it was probably even more shitty and confusing at one point. Anyway, we cut back to Simon, who is gonna check what's on the disc. And guess what? It's fucking Dane Cook time, baby! He does dog sounds. I don't know why. Simon takes the disc to the monks, to the tech monks, and they say, "Whoa! That's some serious shit you got there, bud. We better get old Dane Cook down here and figure out what the fuck's going on. But first, let's make Dane Cook do some dance moves on the top floor of the fucking church, and we just show it for 2 minutes. We just make Dane Cook dance for 2 minutes. Let's do that.
Go, Nick.
Anyway, they drop him through a trapdoor, and then this bit's actually pretty funny. They say they're monks.
What are you guys?
We're monks. Monks of death.
It's pretty funny, I guess. I mean, they're only shooting blanks to scare him into talking about the CD, because apparently it was filled with classified software, classified government software or some shit. Anyway, Simon wants to keep the software, but Nick wants to save Claire, for which he needs to hand over the software to Ashton. Oh no, what a dilemma. Anyway, Simon agrees to save Claire if Simon can keep the disc. So Dennis Rodman and Dane Cook fucking roll out. It's the next day and Claire is being guarded by the dancer. Then all of a sudden Dennis Rodman is in a Chinese shaman outfit and starts fucking putting people to sleep in broad daylight on the street. A 6'5" fucking Chinese shaman in France just fucking knocking people out. Very inconspicuous. I can see why this guy's a spy. Anyway, Nick is negotiating with the dancer about the deal and keeping the dancer distracted while Simon makes his way to intercept Claire for the rescue. And then all of a sudden, that crazy fucking dude who punched the window out of the car at the very beginning comes out of nowhere and starts punching holes in more shit. That's what he does, I guess. And then all of a sudden the dancer also comes out of nowhere and all three of them start fucking punching holes and shit, throwing shit around. Turns out the crazy kung fu henchman dude, the Asian guy, is actually the action director and stunt coordinator for the film. He's actually a really prolific action director and stunt guy. He was the stunt double for martial arts superstar Jet Li. Eventually, after they kick the shit out of each other, Simon gives up a fake disc, and meanwhile Nick pulls a fucking gun on Claire and her boyfriend. The boyfriend karate kicks it over a ledge, and this is, I did not edit this is the exact sound it makes when it hits the ground. Anyway, there's a fight/chase scene through the streets, and at one point Dennis Rodman picks the boyfriend up like a fucking child and chokeslams him into a fucking shopping cart. It's actually really good, like it's probably the best part of the film so far. We are then treated, and I say treated, to some very shaky car chase footage as they continue their escape with Claire on board. They got Claire, by the way. Very clearly filmed in a stationary car while the cameraman is shaking the fuck out of the camera and zooming in and out. And I don't know why, but the fact that he keeps zooming in and out makes it so much fucking funnier. And there's also this line.
A potato, a damn potato, huh?
I tried grapes, but she kept eating them.
I mean, the whole scene is just so shit, but it gets shitter. Then all of a sudden a bus comes around the bend of this 2-lane road they're on, and uh-oh, the fuck, you can't get past it, so they gotta go on 2 wheels, man! Even though you can clearly see that there's definitely enough room for 2 cars to go around this bend. Anyway, they go off-road, Dane Cook breaks his fucking neck. Then, uh-oh, it's a cliff. Do not worry, guys. It's Simon's car. It's a super special spy car. And it has a parachute on the fucking back of it. And they start parachuting the safety. This whole scene is really bad. It's just really badly done. The green screen's terrible. You can see that. There's even a bit where Dennis Rodman looks directly at the camera and then says Dane Cook's lines with Dane Cook.
Shit!
Yeah. Anyway, they land back on the beach and all is well, apparently. They wake Claire up and she says she was never kidnapped, blah 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 blah. She hates her dad for taking her away from her boyfriend, blah blah blah. Nick calls her dad and the dad says, keep her at a hotel, and then that's the end of that scene. We then cut to a very dramatic, rainy scene where Ashton is meeting the Colonel again. And honestly, if this story doesn't make sense to you, you're not alone. At this point, I had no fucking idea what Ashton and the Colonel kept doing. I thought Claire was the Colonel's daughter, but then the dad just got revealed. I don't know what the fuck's going on. We're like 40 minutes in. It made no sense to me then. It makes no sense to me now. Anyway, the Colonel reluctantly sells Ashton some sort of weapon in a case, and then he goes to walk away, and Ashton goes,
"Don't turn your back on me."
And fucking shoots him for some reason. I have no idea. Gotta keep the movie going somehow, I guess. We jump to Dennis Rodman following the dancer lady into her house at 3 a.m. and he starts fucking ripping the clothes off her, and we learn that she was fired for the fake disc thing, and then they have a big seizure fucking love scene. That's it. That's the whole scene. We then jump back to the 3 comic relief characters that are guarding Claire in the hotel like the dad said. And Dane Cook takes like 40 seconds to open the door. Uh-oh! Claire's escaped with the boyfriend through a window.
Claire!
Then the fucking moped gang from the start of the film is back, and the boyfriend does some kung fu fucking shit, and Ashton's boys steal Claire away. We then learn from the monks that the weapon Ashton just bought was a super mega laser. And remember that scene right at the start where Dennis Rodman was like, "Call me when you're ready" or some shit? Guess what? The Colonel finally called, and apparently he wasn't shot in the earlier scene. I had to go back and see it, but yeah, there he is. He's just laying on the fucking floor, not getting shot. For anyway, the Colonel wants to meet Simon in the city. Meanwhile, Nick goes to the monks' hideout for some reason, and oh no, the moped gang has followed him, and they bust the fucking doors in, refusing to get off their motorbikes for some reason. So Nick and the monks just close the door and run away. Anyway, they fucking ride their bikes down the stairs and they torch the whole work area, and they're looking for the disc. Which, that's not very good. Meanwhile, Simon is in the city, barely fitting into elevators, and oh no, it was a bait. Simon is being ambushed by Ashton and a bunch of dudes in fucking face paint for some reason. Ashton asks for the disc from Simon and threatens to shoot the Colonel, and the Colonel has a grenade in his hand, and if he shoots the Colonel, he'll drop the grenade and blow everybody up. Simon says no. So that happens, I guess. Another shootout ensues. Simon gets chased through a kitchen. He fucking bonks a dude in the head with a saucepan. He explodes a microwave. He hides in a fridge. And then he sends a dude careening out of a 10th story window using a table on fucking wheels. So a pretty normal fight scene there. Then he firefighter slides down a huge pole with no hands while shooting a gun back up. It goes directly from that to then him body slamming himself through a fucking tent from like 9 stories up. It was a pretty fun scene all in all. It's wacky, but it's fun. And remember what I said earlier about the stunt scenes being the best part of the film? Like, they are so over the top and silly and fun to watch that it's very apparent that the stunt and action guys are actually pretty talented dudes. They're actually just let down by the rest of the filmmakers. And Dane Cook, of course. Anyway, we cut back to the monks sinking in quicksand for some reason. Simon turns up and he fucking saves them, and the fat one hits a pretty good line about Greenpeace.
You ain't gonna save him, brother?
Guy next! Call Greenpeace!
Simon!
They go back up to the tech room in the HQ to inspect the damage that the biker gang just did. Dennis Rodman just fully forgets he's in a movie all of a sudden and just calls Dane Cook by his real name here.
But I'm just getting your way.
I understand, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Just go home. I understand, it's cool. I understand, it's cool.
Yeah, no idea how that made it into the final cut of the film, but it's there anyway. There's a meeting between Ashton and Claire's dad. Finally, the dad hands over the disc and Ashton goes to check if it's real. Then we cut to the fat monk, who I'm pretty sure is called Micro, which is hilarious, who is buying 40 sheep and assaulting a farmer for his staff. He then uses the sheep to block the bridge. He hits a quick Braveheart quote.
Every sheep dies, but not every sheep really lives! Follow me!
And honestly, this guy's actually growing on me. I mean, he's got some pretty good lines, and I mean, his character is who Dane Cook's character should be. All in all, this movie would be so much better without Dane Cook and Dane Cook's character. Anyway, while he's blocking Ashton with the sheep, Simon sneaks up behind them in a hood, but Ashton clues on and we're treated to like a fat monk fight scene, and he fucking throws a dude off the bridge. He's clearly on a bungee rope, but it's a really cool shot nonetheless, like just from a stunt performance kind of thing. Anyway, Ashton escapes unharmed, so Simon begins chasing them down in his fucking super secret spy camouflage from the start of the film, and he literally does a loop-de-loop in a tunnel to avoid bad guys, and he makes them all blow up. It's pretty fucking bad, man. And you can actually at one point see the ramp and all the pyrotechnics that they got the end shot of him jumping out. Anyway, he keeps chasing Ashton back to the hideout. He fucking crashes his bike, narrowly avoids getting shot. He takes a bunch of bad guys out. The dancer's there all of a sudden out of nowhere, and she helps. And we also get to see Dennis Rodman in a full sprint, and it's pretty good. Anyway, Ashton boots up the disc to check if it's real. Dane Cook does a bunch of cringy shit. Everyone makes their way further inside the hideout to rescue Claire. They find Claire and begin getting her out of there. Meanwhile, Dennis Rodman is on the roof, fucking one-handedly tossing fully grown men like 40 feet out and into the air off of buildings. Anyway, Simon fights the Asian henchman, and Ashton reveals what he's going to use the laser for. Apparently, to blow up the Eiffel Tower. Why? I have no fucking idea. Apparently, he doesn't like looking at it. And then, right before Ashton clicks the fire button on the big laser that he's going to use to blow up the Eiffel Tower, Simon just decides gravity doesn't fucking apply to him anymore, and he flies across the room to stop him from pressing the button. Then they have a battle over the control panel, and it's meant to be very suspenseful, and then Simon fucking impales and electrocutes Ashton at the same time. Then all of a sudden he can harness energy. He's not dead instantly. He does some shit.
This is not a good thing.
You got to be kidding.
The whole fucking thing explodes, and Simon narrowly escapes, and the other characters see this explosion and probably say the cringiest thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
That's our Simon.
What the hell, dude? I hate this fucking movie now. Anyway, Dennis does a slow-mo cool guy walk away from the very, very badly green-screened fire, and that's it. That's the end of that scene. We just cut straight away to Claire and her boyfriend getting married now, and then Simon pulls up in his super secret spy camouflage, except, oh, wait a minute, it's not fucking Dennis Rodman, it's wacky Dane Cook, dressed up like Dennis Rodman. I don't know, apparently he just did a mission or something in place of Simon, and Simon says, fuck, hey, that's cool, brother, and then rides off with Dancer. And then the monks and Dane Cook, all three of the comic relief characters, try to walk down the hill really awkwardly, not trying to fall over, and they're ad-libbing the whole time some shit about Free Willy. It's really bad. And that's it, that's the whole fucking movie. Then there's credits. So that's Simon Says, the movie that killed the careers of a few people. Dennis Rodman's career as a leading man in Hollywood, Kevin Elder's directing career, and Dane Cook's acting wait. What? Hold up. Dane Cook net worth $35 million. Holy fuck. What about Dennis Rodman? 500k? Dude, it actually is fucking Daddy Dane time TM, bro. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Okay. Well, on that newly learned information, thanks for watching, and I will see yous next time, probably for a Double Team review, that other Dennis Rodman film. Catch yous later. Peace.